Chapter 10. Music to his ears. The day was already losing its light when Cato stepped out of the Ashencat castle and into the inner courtyard. He looked up to the peach-coloured sky with idle eyes and allowed himself a moment of peace to appreciate nature's majesty in silence. He drew a deep breath and attempted to organise the clutter in his thoughts before he would present himself to his master. One by one, he untangled his mental knots and placed each thread of worry in isolated containers. The day didn't go the way he had hoped, not in the slightest. He thought that he would spend the night, or perhaps even the rest of his life, with Aisha Celestine, but that scenario didn't seem as likely as it did the day before. He thought that he would finally settle down a bit after having travelled across the realm for the past 6 years. He would have been content to postpone that plan if he was given a good enough reason, but never thought to do so for a mission to Doriva, of all places.
What the fuck is wrong with me?
He thought, and stared at the lines in his palms.
A change in my destiny?
He had to forcefully refrain himself from thinking about his dreams, apprehensive that the spectre may once again appear if he did. So, he took another deep breath to clear his mind and looked around in the courtyard. Everything was gilded by the light of the setting sun. Many notable lords and ladies were scattered across the place, socializing and chattering, providing the courtyard with a lovely ambiance of low hums and laughter. By chance, he landed his eyes on the pavilion, which stood in the middle of the pond at the far end of the courtyard. Grandmaster Aemon, Master Cyrus, Master Mycon and Master Nia were having a conversation. It looked rather serious to Cato when he saw that the two masters from Mengarovi were speaking with their heads lowered. His plan to seek advice from Aemon would have to wait. The conversation of the masters seemed too important to be interrupted. Suddenly, he sensed a pair of eyes aimed at him from the side of the pond. Master Caius stood by himself underneath a willow tree and stared at him with an ambiguous smile on his face. He quickly gathered himself and made his way toward the spy master.
Lord Cato.
Caius straightened his posture with his hands elegantly placed behind his back.
You seem troubled.
Cato smiled. It was his default expression when engaging in formal interactions.
Troubled? I'm perfectly fine, Master Caius. What makes you say that?
His tone was polite and deliberate. He refused to show any signs of unease or discomfort. In truth, he wanted to avoid Caius Silverink at all costs. At the same time, he was aching to find out if the spy master was in any way involved in the manifestations of his strange dreams. Caius politely answered with a smile of his own. He was no stranger to courtesy, as he had been an emissary for over a decade before he assumed the position of spy master.
Is there something I can do for you?
On the contrary, Master Caius. I'm wondering if there is something I can do for you instead. You have been staring at me with such intensity throughout the entire gathering.
Have I?
You have.
Caius chuckled and rubbed his chin.
What can I say? It's not often I get a chance to study you, Lord Cato. You're a rarity in Onira nowadays, and of course it is my duty to assess all facets of every one of our assets.
Curiosity is the blood that flows through my veins, Master Caius. May I ask what it is that you have learned about me today?
Caius thought about the question for a moment and nodded.
Certainly,
he said, and paused for an awkwardly long time.
I have learned that you are braver than I previously assumed, perhaps a tad bit bold, even. Not many people would dream of opposing Master Cronus on such a public platform. I thought that was rather admirable.
Cato gave no reaction, though he couldn't help but to notice the emphasis that was put on the word dream. He kept his eyes locked on the spy master and silently prodded for more information. Caius wasn't someone that would crumble to intimidation, but didn't see any reason to withhold his analysis either.
You appear to be very talented when it comes to solving problems on the spot,
he continued.
The way you came up with your reasoning to lead the mission, despite your reluctance to do so, was a beautiful thing to behold. But most of all, I have learned that your mind is even more fascinating than I already knew it to be.
Cato flinched and momentarily lost his luster.
What would you know about my mind?
His tone was no longer polite, and that seemed to amuse the master.
Well, I know that you are conflicted from within.
Aren't we all?
Caius laughed.
Quite right, Lord Cato. Quite right. We all have demons to overcome in order to grow.
Interesting choice of words.
Cato snickered and shook his head. Normally he could dabble in the pools of ambiguity for hours on end, but after the day he was having, his patience was quickly wearing thin.
Have you invaded my mind during the gathering?
Oh?
Caius feigned surprise.
How uncharacteristically direct. Are we not dancing around the subject anymore?
I've done all my dancing for the day. I discovered it gets tiresome when the music has already stopped. Besides, I know when I am outmatched, Master Caius.
I do believe that is only your modesty speaking, Lord Cato. Nevertheless, I will accept your praise.
He paused and tapped his chin in contemplation.
No.
That's it? No?
Well, I guess I could stretch the answer beyond a single word, but the essence of the message remains very much the same.
I saw you turn into a spectre.
Caius burst into a cackling laughter.
Oh, you're serious? Lord Cato, I will not offend you by saying you don't know what you're talking about, as I'm sure that someone with your vocation knows exactly when to say what. I, on the other hand, must have been absent from the game for too long, because I have absolutely no idea what you are talking about.
Master Caius, I will not be tempted to offend you by calling you duplicitous, though I am sure that in both our vocations it could easily be taken as a compliment. However, I do believe that you aren't giving me the full truth.
Is there really any other form of truth?
Cato scoffed. Another deflection. He would hear clearer answers talking to a mute.
Who is Cain?
The name seemed to have given the master pause, if only for a short moment.
Cain. Cain.
He tapped his chin again.
Is this a riddle? Can you be a bit more specific? Cain isn't exactly an uncommon name in Aden, you know.
No,
Cato said, answering all three questions at once and feeling his agitation develop into violent thoughts.
You are quite an interesting character,
Caius said and exposed his teeth with a grin.
It is true that I would love to take a look inside your head one day, but for now you have nothing to be afraid of. I would never do so without either your or Grandmaster Aemon's consent. However, I do wonder, how does the mind of the illustrious Cato Knight work?
I'll be honest with you, Master Caius. When you say things like that, I do fear...
Is there anything at all you do not fear, Cato Knight?
Cato rolled his eyes and turned around with a demeanour as if he had just stepped into a steaming pile of shit.
Cronus Metalung,
he said through clenched jaws.
Can't you see we're in the middle of a conversation?
Oh, no, Lord Cato. Is that how you address your superiors? Whatever happened to Master Cronus, a fearsome warrior of great renown?
Cato grinned.
We've all been wondering for the past few years. I personally heard he drowned himself under the tears of a grapevine long ago.
Cronus grinned back.
My, such disrespect. That is no way to talk to a master. Wouldn't you agree, Master Caius?
The spymaster shrugged.
I find the lack of formality rather refreshing. There is a certain youthfulness to it.
See, that's where you and I differ, Master Caius. You are a man who knows how to appreciate societal progression, whereas I am a traditionalist who values old-fashioned hierarchy. You seem to see youthfulness in places I can only find immaturity.
Cato sighed.
What do you want, Master Cronus?
Cronus growled.
What I want is to wipe that arrogance off your face, Lord Cato.
His entire demeanour turned sour as he said it.
You can think of no one more qualified to lead the mission. I hope your misguided confidence will lead to your downfall.
He theatrically raised his head and cupped his chin inside his hand.
No, wait, I take that back. My apologies. I must seem like a moron just now. Obviously, a downfall would require you to rise to a certain height first.
A lovely story, Master Cronus. Now, will you please take your intoxicated soliloquies elsewhere? Master Caius and I are actually discussing matters of importance.
He pointed at one of the lords near the cat's entrance and flicked his head in that direction.
Why don't you make your way over there, huh? Go on then. I'm sure the glorious tales from your golden days would have Lord Peamol hanging on your lips.
Did I hear that correctly, Master Caius? Or did the pup just learn how to bark?
Oh, please don't mind me, Master Cronus. I wasn't paying any attention at all.
You hear that, Lord Cato? Your presence is starting to bore Master Caius.
He snatched Cato by the chin and forced him to face the spymaster.
Do you see that beautiful indifference? Do you see? No one cares about your insignificant babblings.
Cato freed himself with a laugh, but the annoyance was starting to spill onto his face. Nothing could test his patience as much as a prolonged exposure to the toxin called Cronus metal lung.
Your ability to flatulate through your mouth never ceases to amaze me, Master Cronus. If you spoke with any substance at all, I would have said you were full of shit.
Caius laughed, but was the only one to do so.
It seems to me you two have some catching up to do. Well, I'll leave you gentlemen to it then. There are other matters that require my attention.
He casually strolled past Cato with his hands still glued to his back.
Have a wonderful life, Lord Cato. May all your dreams come true,
He whispered and walked away with a smile on his face.
Hey, we're not done yet.
Cato turned around to follow the spymaster, but was tightly held by the wrist.
No, we are not done yet, you little maggot.
Cato stared at the grip and raised his eyes in annoyance.
What, Cronus? If it's another drink you want, go fetch it yourself.
Tisk, tisk, Lord Cato. Manners!
Cronus pulled himself closer and swung his arm around Cato's neck.
Take a look around, boy. You're in the presence of masters here. You cannot talk to those better than you in such a way. By all accounts, we are the gods that shape your destiny. You see, we have earned the right to soar through the sky, tongue-kiss the sun, and splatter our seed on everyone below us. You, on the other hand, haven't done a goddamn thing for our beloved nation. You were set up to be the next king of Moralis, and you even managed to fuck that up. Truly, your ingratitude knows no limit. You hop around the realm a happy little pup, flaunting your master's collar around your neck, thinking you radiate the same authority. Your naivety offends me.
He tightened his grip around Cato's neck and gnashed his teeth.
I will let you in on a little secret, all right? Honest to God, you disgust me, Lord Cato. You are a filthy slug that nibbles on the crops we worked so hard to sow, leaving behind trails of disgusting slime everywhere you go. You see, when a ground-dwelling creature such as yourself crawls on the shoulder of its master to get a taste of the sun, you cast a shadow on the rest of us. The others may smile and pet the poor little creature because otherwise the old man will get upset. Well, not I. Cronus Metalung likes his sunshine. Glory is not meant for everyone, Lord Cato. You should have stayed low to the dirt, and
Cato forcefully freed himself from the grip and gasped for air when he could no longer hold his breath.
My God, Cronus, do you have any idea what you smell like? It's like a rancid stew of sour milk and festering wounds in there.
Cronus squinted his eyes.
You are funny, boy. No wonder they all welcome your face in every single court. Who doesn't love to laugh at the follies of a jester? But I'm warning you. Keep talking this way and I will be forced to teach you a lesson again.
Cato cracked into a short burst of laughter and stared at the master with a dangerous glint in his eyes.
And I am the funny one, Master Cronus. In what demented fantasy do you presume to think you can teach me a lesson?
He could feel the belligerence contaminate the clarity of his thoughts. All his life, he had been taught that words cut sharper than any blade.
We were never meant for each other,
He still heard Aisha say. He followed his master's belief that a peaceful solution would always yield better results than a violent one. But somewhere deep inside him, he welcomed the possibility of an escalation with Cronus Metalung.
Oh? How disappointing,
The master said, shaking his head.
I can't believe you have forgotten already. I actually thought we bonded over that experience. As I recall, You spent months in the care of Master Nia the last time you were yearning to be schooled.
Cato's grin never wavered, but it was clear by the venom in his eyes that he hadn't forgotten about a thing.
I won't pretend to know what someone like you would be able to recall. All I remember is that a 14-year-old kid was beaten half to death by a 30-year-old drunk.
And you deserved every single strike.
Cato crossed his arms and started tapping his fingers on his elbow. It immediately seemed to fill Cronus's face with bitterness.
Perhaps,
he said, fully aware of the reaction he would invoke with his gesture.
Would you be able to do it again, I wonder? Time is a river that flows without pause, Master Cronus. I am no longer 14, and you most certainly are no longer 30.
It was a dangerous game he played, poking a vicious predator with nothing but a twig, and very much unlike him to let emotions overtake judgment. But the darkness in his mind spoke to him, and it demanded a victim. He did nothing to stop his growing bloodlust and fully gave in to the seduction of belligerence.
Don't bark if you lack the teeth to bite,
Cronus said in a flat voice. An eerie silence followed as the two were locked in an intense stare-down. The air around them turned heavy with ill intentions. Every conversation in the courtyard was hushed by the tension as they all turned their attention to the brooding storm cloud that was about to burst.
What's with that look, pup? Do you honestly think you have the fangs to challenge me? Me?
The ground shook and trembled in fear of the renowned Earthweaver. Cato, however, was not impressed. And even if he were, he sure didn't show it on his face. He knew what Cronus Metalung was capable of. Everyone in O'Nera and the better part of the realm did. But Cato also knew what he was capable of, and his skills had seen much less exposure, which would work to his advantage in a clash. A gust of wind blew past, bringing forth a symphony of dancing leaves. He might not have noticed it himself, but he was smiling a wicked smile that even seemed to unnerve Cronus a bit.
You are nothing without the gifts you received from the old man, and you have done nothing to deserve them either. You know it, I know it, we all know it. Why do you think Asia Celestine rejected you?
There was a pause before Cronus erupted in an explosive laughter.
You should have seen your face when she denied your pitiful advances. Forget about it, boy. A goddess like her is far beyond your reach. It's about time she finally realized she can't be seen with the likes of you. She is a Celestine, Cato of Moonshield. Did you honestly think you were ever anything more than a frivolous pastime? Wake up! She can't have her reputation get dragged through the dirt anymore.
That hurt. The heartbreak appeared to be stronger than his toxicity for a moment, but Cato forbade his face from showing it. His wicked smile remained firmly intact.
What's not meant to be is not meant to be. I agree that a woman like Asia Celestine only deserves the best. That may be me, that may not be me. Time will tell what destiny has in store for us. And we do have plenty of that, you know. Time, I mean. Seeing how we're both still young and all. You, on the other hand, are close to 40. Why are you all alone, Master Cronus? Have you ever wondered? It's strange, isn't it? It can't be your glorious reputation that's holding you back. No, you are Cronus Metalung, a fearsome warrior of great renown. So what else can it be?
His eyes turned cold and he bared his fangs with a nasty grin. He started tapping his fingers on his elbow again. It stayed silent for a while. Everyone in the courtyard was holding their breath. Even the masters in the pavilion started paying attention to the altercation under the willow tree. There wasn't a single motion to be seen except for the arrhythmic movements of Cato's tapping. In an instant, Cato was forced to duck under a chunk of rock that flew toward him at an alarming pace. But while he was lowering his body to evade the projectile, he saw Cronus's knee rising to his face. He managed to absorb some of the impact with his forearms just in time. The force of the attack still staggered him, and in a reflex, he reached for his waist to grab a hilt that wasn't there. He hadn't forgotten about the fact that weapons were prohibited during gatherings. He made no miscalculation as he wasn't reaching for a physical blade. He didn't aim to maim or even to wound Cronus Metalung. His mind travelled to much darker places than that. If his instinct hadn't forced him to duck under the Master's attack, the flying chunk of rock would most likely have taken his head clean off. He was reaching for his aura, and the only thing his aura was good for was taking lives. He was never known to be a violent person, but the darkness in his mind fully eclipsed any rationale he had. Another gust of wind swept through. The sound of scraping leaves was music to his ears. Cronus noticed the shift in Cato's demeanour and bared his teeth with a grin to match the belligerence. He widened his stance and stomped on the ground with his heel. A mixture of minerals swirled around him, layering him in a matter that was many times harder than diamond. He lunged forward and flung his arm wildly over his shoulder.
Stop this nonsense right now!
Grandmaster Aemon roared from the pavilion. The voice of his master snapped Cato out of his bloodlust in an instant. He felt Cronus's knuckles narrowly whiff past his face as he immediately dropped down on one knee. He lowered his head in shame and kept his eyes fixed on the sandstone tiles. He was stunned by his own willingness to take the life of a master, in front of a crowd of Oneran nobles no less. But Cronus Metalung was a wildfire that, once ignited, couldn't be extinguished that easily. He was thirsting for violence and wouldn't change his mind until that thirst was quenched. He brought down the fist that was wrapped in a gauntlet of rocks, fully intending to pulverize the skull of his motionless foe. His strike, however, was intercepted by the palm of Mycon Bloodthorn. Every bone in Mycon's hand shattered and pierced through his skin, but that didn't seem to faze him in the slightest. Within the blink of an eye, the protruding bones slid back beneath the surface, and before anyone had time to take a breath, the hand already recovered.
Looking out for your fellow monster, Master Mycon!
Obeying the Grand Master's command,
Mycon replied in a flat tone. Cronus shifted his eyes to the pavilion, then back to Mycon again. Gradually, his suit of minerals disintegrated and crumbled to the floor a pile of dust. He slowly retracted his arm, but kept his eyes sharply fixed on Mycon.
Now walk away, Master Cronus. Have another drink and enjoy the feast.
Cronus scoffed and quickly gave the pavilion another glance. He swept the dust from his shoulders and straightened his coat.
I hope you die in Doriva, Lord Cato,
he said, and headed for the entrance of the cat.
You are ready to kill him,
Mycon said as he watched Cronus disappear from the courtyard.
Nothing escapes your attention, Master Mycon.
Cato stayed frozen in position. His bloodlust may have watered down, but the sharpness in his voice remained.
I don't speak in absolutes, Lord Cato, but you are correct. Very few things escape my senses, although it was clear to see who had the advantage in the fight.
Mycon reached out his hand.
Come,
He said.
Your master would like a word with you.